Okay, so we are back on here live. Awesome. I decided, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to go ahead and jump on early, and I really want to take my time with this because this is a very important topic, and I want to make sure that the right people come on and that they really get this. So I don't want to rush through this. And this is the reason why I decided to come on board a little bit earlier. I know for a lot of you guys, I said at the top of the hour, but I just wanted to give it a little bit of time, especially too with Facebook. I know it takes time as far as to build out the algorithms, let others know as far as that you're on. So I just wanted to allow for Facebook to go ahead and do its thing. But happy Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard to Transformation Greatness has decided to team up with the Small Business Network podcast. And we decided, as far as to come with this topic, are you married to the process? And so I just want to say hello to Jay Sargent. Thank you so much for hopping in. Do me a favor, guys, if you will, if you're like, of course, if you find this to be valuable, please go ahead and tag your friends, your colleagues, anyone that you feel that can most certainly benefit from this, because I want us to have a conversation. And this is really, I would consider a soulful conversation. This is really for anyone that's an entrepreneur, if you're a change agent, if you're a leader, if you are anyone that is looking to do anything great or special in this world, then I recommend for you to sit back, relax, get yourself something to drink, take you some notes, if you will, and let's have a conversation here. And for those that's coming on board here, do me a favor, if you will. If you catch us on the live right now, put in the hashtag live, guys. Let me know exactly where you're tuning in from. And if you should happen to be catching us on a replay because either you're in meetings or you're attending to other business, by all means, put in the hashtag replay and let me know where you're tuning in from. And also, if you're getting some value as well. So, like I said, guys, I want to go ahead and take my time with this. And I apologize if I don't sound like, if my voice is not more higher. And that's the reason being because here in Atlanta, Georgia, if you know anything about Georgia, we're definitely in pollen season. And, oh, man, allergies. It's absolutely terrible. I've been fighting as far as with these allergies for the past 3 days, and I feel it like right up in here in my throat. So I actually have some green tea in here and also some chamomile. So I'm going to be drinking this as we go along here. So if you can just bear with me for a second, we'll go ahead and jump right into this. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. So the question in which that we all pose tonight is, are you married to the process? And like I opened up before, for anyone that's a life changer, an entrepreneur, if you have a profession, if you're a career-oriented person, we all understand this because we all know in order to get to different levels, different stages in our career, in our profession, we all know there's a certain process. No one gets to be, you wake up and you start off as being like zero. I'm going to say zero, not broke, but zero. And then you turn into a millionaire overnight, right? And that's why it kind of kills me, because when I see these ads, right, especially like on YouTube and etc., it amazes me on how so much they paint that picture that, oh, if you do A, B, and C, then you become a millionaire or a multimillionaire or, you know, whatever gimmick in which that they're selling. And it amazes me how many people actually fall for that, right? Not knowing that there's a process and there's a strategy in everything in which that you do. And for my entrepreneurs, definitely know exactly what I'm talking about. Stephanie, welcome, Triplet. Welcome. Stephanie, do me a favor, and Dr. James, welcome. Do me a favor, guys. If you like, please go ahead and share this out to as many people as you possibly can in your respective groups. Anyone that you feel that can benefit from this, please bring them on board. So if you can do that for me right now, and then come on back, I would gladly appreciate it. And for all those that still watching this, to continue on with this, again, the process is something that you can't cheat it. And I used this analogy before. A lot of athletes in particular, those that celebrity, A-listers, anyone that you can possibly think about, they understand that there's a process and there's a journey and there's strategies that are in place, and you cannot cheat the process. I understand even as far from when we're even young. And I totally get it, guys. Someone that, is a thought leader, someone that loves as far as like psychology and neuroscience and the whole human brain. I get it, guys. I get it. Listen, it's all about pain versus pleasure, right? I get it. It's all about doing things which makes us more comfortable, right? And more at ease, as opposed to going through things that's painful and difficult. I get all that, right? It's the homeostasis, of it all, right? Basically want to stay, in the natural, right? Basically just being whole, right? Being safe. I get all that. And I understand too that it goes back as far as even as way back if you want to the caveman days. I get all that. I totally get it. And this is what society, conditions us from the very beginning as children, right? To do things that's safe, do things that's convenient, do things that's easy. Don't rock the boat, right? Right? I want you to think about that for a second as we move forward. How many of you know individuals that do things very, very safe, right? If there's something in which that requires them, just even do a little bit of effort, not even a lot of effort, guys, just a little bit of effort. Just imagine the resistance that comes to that, the excuses, the life script that comes through the subconscious mind. And I want you guys to think about that as we're moving forward, because what I discovered, even as far as my own journey in as being an entrepreneur, and I've been an entrepreneur now coming up on about 11 years, I even think about the moments when I stayed with the process and realized that, you know what? Them things as far as on what them so-called gurus we talking about and all the gimmicks and the get rich quick schemes and all that other nonsense, that's exactly what it is. It's a gimmick. It's a scheme. I'm not saying all of them, but the majority of it is junk. And when I truly understood in my own personal experience that you have to be willing and committed, and dare I say, that's why I titled this, be married to the process. We have here Lakeisha in the house. Welcome, greetings, greetings. So I wrote some stuff out here, and these are some things in which that we all do as human beings, entrepreneurs, athletes, etc. We all do. And I want you to consider this as well when you're being married to the process. Because we think about the pros versus cons, right? Okay. How is this beneficial for me versus how is not beneficial, right? We also think about as far as the pain versus the pleasure in which that I mentioned about. Because as human beings, naturally, no one really wants to go through pain, right? I mean, it hurts, it's painful, it doesn't feel good. It's much, much more pleasurable and easy on the brain. It doesn't take anything whatsoever to have that pleasure drug, right? That pleasure feeling, right? Makes a lot of sense. And since that society has conditioned us in this fashion, it's no wonder, ladies and gentlemen, that it takes nothing to be mediocre. It takes nothing to just be average. There's no brain power involved. There's no effort. You don't even have to have any drive. You just have to be average. So here's a question I want to ask each and every single last one of you. Sierra, welcome, welcome. Question I want to ask each and every single one of you is this. How's that working out for you? If that is you, and you don't have to answer the question, this is something which I want you all to ask yourselves personally, because I had to ask myself this question. It was a major gut check some years ago. How was that working out for you? Right? Who is that helping by you not being married to the process, being married to the commitment, to your vision, to your purpose, to what you set out that you were going to do? And because you decided to want to be a part of society, a part of the mediocre, fulfilling as far as that life prophecy or life script of what others done said about you. How's that working out? There's a lot of things in which I've learned too during this journey when you're married to the process, when you make a committed decision. Melissa, welcome, welcome, welcome. Sierra, I love it. Absolutely fantastic. This is some things in which I've learned during my journey. When you're married to the process, when you make a decision, right? Whether it be as far as to motivate, encourage, inspire the masses, whether it's to place your foot in the sand and say, you know what? I have an excellent vision and I want to help people through the power of TV and radio. Whether it be as far as that you want to share your story and deliver that in such a fashion through the pain and pleasure version, no matter what it is. This is some key things in which I've learned. And by the way, which I'm about to mention to you all is something which that you all know. Okay, so I just want to preface that before I go ahead and mention these points. The first one is this, ladies and gentlemen, and write this down for me, somebody, is that people will often disappoint you. People will often disappoint you. Why is that, Shawn? Why will people often disappoint you when you're married to the process? I'll give you a couple of reasons why. One is because based upon of their thinking, right? And it can be where family members or friends that they love you to death. They want to see the best for you, right? They don't want nothing bad to happen to you. Kudos to that. But the reason why people often disappoint you is because of their limited vision. Because of the fact that maybe, as far as that they tried, right? Tried, and it didn't work. And so because they had that level of hurt and disappointment, they don't want you to experience that as well. That's one. Secondly, it can be because deep internally inside their spirit that they're jealous of you, envious of you, and quite frankly, just don't want to see you succeed. How many people you know, and I want to ask you all another question because I want conversation here. I want conversation here. If you know me, I love dialogue, right? How many of you have relied on someone? Everybody here that's on the live. Dr. James, Melissa, Sierra, I want you all to comment. How many of you all have relied upon somebody? I mean, really, really depend on that person. You said, man, you know what? He's definitely going to be there. She's definitely going to go ahead and be there, man. And I know I can count on this person, man. They're like, yeah, I know they got my back. You know, that's my right hand man. That's my right hand girl, X, Y, and Z. And then when the rubber meets the road, they're nowhere to be found. They're on the other side of the haters club, the #1 cheerleader betting against you. When you're married to the process, ladies and gentlemen, that's a strong possibility. And you have to be willing to accept it, embrace it, and move forward. How about this for a thought? How about where there will be days, there will be days where you just won't be feeling it. How do I know that? This is a story I really don't share too often, but I'll go ahead and share it with you all because it's about being transparent here. I remember when I was in the hospital. This was in Miami some years ago, and I suffered from a heart attack. And that was probably about, I don't know, maybe my 10th time as far as brushing death, to be honest with you. And I remember when I was hooked up as far as, to all those machines, and I didn't know whether I was even going to be around to see the next day, and be honest with you. But would you believe, even though I was weak, I was tired, dehydrated, and everything else in between the sun, but yet here I am with the power of using this phone right here. I was out there actually still reaching out to people, still trying to make sales. And this is when I was a part of direct mailing group. I still remember my family to this day. It was like, Shawn, have you lost your mind, man? You in the hospital. You're supposed to be recuperating. You're supposed to be trying to get better. And here you are reaching out to people, trying to make sales. Have you lost your mind? And you know what I said? Yeah. Because I'm willing to change my situation. I'm willing to be different. Because I was married to the process when I was with that company. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. Here's the real deal. This is what a lot of so-called gurus and those that whatever is not going to tell you. And Dr. James says this a lot, which is true. You have to be relentless. You have to be relentless. I don't care as far as on what you do. I don't care what is going on. You gotta be relentless. Like I mentioned, there's going to be days where you're just not feeling it health-wise. I just shared with you guys when I was in the hospital and I was close to death. But yet I'm still making connections, still going for the mark. Let that sink in. Jay, welcome. Thank you so much for hopping on, Jade. I definitely do appreciate that. There's going to be times that you're going to doubt yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Is that normal? Of course, absolutely. Welcome to entrepreneurship. Welcome to any time that you are looking to change your current situation and you're looking to go above and beyond of what you think is possible. That's going to happen. It's human nature, right? If you ask me, Shawn, how many times have you doubted yourself through this whole entire process? Whew, more than I can count. More than I can count. But you know something, guys? And this is the reason why June 20th to 24th, I'm so happy to be talking about the topic which I'm going to have on the comeback champion. Because a comeback champion is someone that, in spite of everything in which I just said, they still keep on coming back. It can be because of stubbornness. It can be because they're just straight naive, ignorance. Who knows? But they understand that's part of the process because they're married to it. And when you're married to it, you say, no matter what, right? For richer, for poorer, for sicker, for health, they'll do us part. You are going to make it happen or die trying. There is no plan B, right? There is no other boats. The boat is already burnt. Are you married to the process during your journey, during your vision, during your purpose, doing what you're supposed to do? Yes, no, maybe, probably so. I'll let you guys think about that one. I'll let you think about that one. How about this one? You will lose sleep. You will lose sleep. It's been many times doing keynote presentations, reaching out to individuals, making connections, reaching deadlines, that I done lost sleep. Still had to go on to work. tired as I don't know what, tired as a zombie. But still, when you make that committed decision as being an entrepreneur, as someone that has a job to do, that has a responsibility, because you have an organization, you have a team of people to lead, you got things that just have to get done. There will be times in which that you'll lose sleep. Oh, you better believe it. Oh, you better believe it. And if you're not willing to even do that, then I question as far as for you being an entrepreneur. See, what interests me, and nothing wrong with this as well, what I'm about to say. This is just for me, right? Everyone wants that laptop lifestyle, right? Everybody wants that laptop lifestyle. Everybody wants to where you work maybe 1 hour a day, or 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, right? And you make all this money and you got time to do everything else in the world. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. Nothing wrong with that, right? But I want to ask you something. And I want you all to be completely honest with me. In that type of mode, can you really say to yourself that you really made a productive day? But just working 1 hour a week? That's almost like you're saying, right? And I'm gonna put this in the 9 to 5 context. It's almost like saying that you're going to work, and from 8 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever the case, and you're just standing around, right, not doing nothing for 7 hours, and then towards the last hour, you get hyperactive, productive. Let me ask you a question, guys. If you were to do that over the course of time, how would that work out for you? Will you get lazy? Will you get complacent? Or will you be like me? You'd be like, okay, well, you know what? This is something I didn't sign up for, because, I mean, that's because I could stay home and just continue to work more on my business, right? Interesting thought. And just an interesting thought. So now that I shared with you all, as far as, I guess, the not great things, let's talk about the positives about when you're married to the process. Let's talk about that. For starters, your confidence increases. Or does it increase? It increases tremendously. People see you in a different light, not only here online, but also in person as well. How is that, Shawn? Because there is something which is called the power of what's that word? Let's see. I can't believe I forgot here, guys. I want to say repetition. Wow. Just had a brain freeze. Look at that. Repetition. When you do something over and over and over and over, and you practice it and you practice it and you practice it and you practice it, and you get better and you get better and you get better and you get better and you get better, what happens is that your confidence grows. I want you to think about, as far as for someone that speaks, that is a speaker, right? When you do a pre-note speech, the reason why it's fantastic, it's not because the night before they actually practiced and then it came out amazing and fantastic. No, it's because of the fact they practiced this so many times, morning, afternoon, evenings. They're sleeping it, morning, afternoons, evenings, when they're sleeping, over and over and over and over again, until the day of which they have to do their keynote presentation. It's embedded in their brain so much because of the muscle memory. So now what happens is that, guess what? They can do a keynote presentation just like this and know exactly on what they're going to say, how they're going to say it, why they're saying it. They already have their whole entire technique down. Imagine that. To a room of 5,000, 10,000 people. Think about that one. So confidence is very, very essential. Very essential. It's part of personal development, folks. I wish that there'd be more entrepreneurs, more people that are looking to do great, tremendous things can really take that approach. That's why getting a mentor and a coach that's in the trenches, that is doing what you want to do, that's 1 or 2 steps above you, is always better than trying to get with someone that's like so far light years ahead of you that you're like, oh my goodness. By the time I even get to his level or her level, she's going to be a billion miles away from me. Psychologically, you're going to be like, okay, like how, right? Just think about that one. Your skill set increases, in which I already mentioned, because it increases your communication, your speaking, your closing skills. You've been through that process so many times because you're married to the process. You already said there is no divorce, ladies and gentlemen. Guess what? In the words of Les Brown, it ain't over until I win. How about that for a mindset shift on a Wednesday, Dr. James? It's not over until I win. That's right. That's right. We're doing it over and over and over and over and over again. That's right. Of course. But see, it's the reason why that I'm able to do this with such fervor and such confidence, because he is the one that has given me this gift, number one. And secondly, because of the fact that conviction is coming out through him. Right? I'm just a vessel. I'm just basically telling you guys on what you already know. This is nothing that's so astronomically great, right? It doesn't make me a super genius. I'm basically just reminding you of what you already know. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, of what you already know. That's all. But it's nothing wrong to get a great reminder. Right, Dr. James? Let's move on, shall we? Experience, in my opinion, because experience is life's greatest teacher. When you are married to the process, your experience is gained. As I'm doing this Facebook Live podcast, I'm also gathering information as well from you guys, because I'm looking at your comments at the same time, and I'm seeing as far as on what you guys are saying on whether this resonates with you or not. So that way I know moving forward when I do another podcast or when I'm interviewing someone, I know exactly on who you guys will be receptive to and who you will resonate to. Make sense? But I want to be able to gather that type of experience if I wasn't married to the process, if I didn't put the time in, right? If I didn't put God first. Is this all making sense, by the way? Is this all making sense? Well, I guess it is. Then Shawn, may you move forward? Yes, you may. Okay, cool. And also, too, guys, when you're married to the process, thank you, Sierra, appreciate it. Your vision, your purpose, your gift, it expands. Allow for me to sit with that for a second. What I mean by when your vision increases, because now you're able to see things on a bigger and broader scale. Because of the conversation that me and Dr. James had some months ago, the Small Business Network podcast has been birthed. Because of the fact that me, Dr. James, and our various other partners and CEOs communicate on a considerable basis, it's the reason why we do have, as far as pain and pleasure, individual, and we also have angels to some, demons to others. That's a new concept in which that we have, right? And that is amazing in itself. Because of the vision grew is the reason why that I get to do a third keynote speech with the Comeback Champions, which, by the way, is going to be June 20th to 24th. Guys, get your tickets. It don't cost you a penny. when you are married to the process, your vision, it grows so much because now it shows you on more stuff in which that you can do. Your imagination grows, your creativity grows. It's more so like, and I want you guys to think about as far as a child, right? We all know as far as with children, their imaginations is limitless, right? And they just dream and they just imagine. It's only when they start getting to a certain point where society and people start crushing their dreams and telling them what's possible and what's not. Let that sink in for a second. But your purpose, it starts to get more clearer. The people start coming to you, the events, the opportunities, the circumstances. That doesn't happen by accident, folks. But when you're married to the process, and because you've been practicing, and because of the fact that you said, no matter what, I'm here, I'm going to make it, or I'm going to die trying. That's it. End of story. Period, right? When you have that burning commitment and desire, things like that start showing about. So in closing, guys, I know there are individuals, because I see this all the time, especially on social media, even out there in the world. I meet people that were like me at one point. Didn't have a sense of direction. Didn't know their purpose. Didn't know their calling. Doubted themselves so much. Right? And still have that life script of, I want to do it, but I don't think I can do this. Yeah, that looks amazing. I would love to be on TV and radio, right? But financially, things just not working out. Yeah, man, I mean, that would be amazing. That would be fantastic. I would love to get into that new career, that new profession. But I remember, 5, 6 years ago, man, I tried that and I really put my heart and soul and sweat and tears and beers into it, and it just blew up in my face. I don't know. If that's you, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't know who this is for, but if that's you, I would love to have a conversation with you. I would love for us to have a discovery call and see as far as on what that looks like, because those in which that I mentor and counsel, they can tell you that the calls in which that we have, it's about breakthroughs. It's about insights. It's about aha moments. It's about value, ladies and gentlemen. And why do I create it like that such? Because anything that you're looking to accomplish and fulfill in this life, in this world, if we cannot create that foundation, those building blocks, then from that point forward, if we can't create that together, then it's going to be very difficult to do so. How I know? Because I've been through it. I appreciate you all, each and every single one of you that actually have taken the time out of your very busy schedules to even listen to what I had to say. I really do appreciate that. And if any of this resonated with you whatsoever, from radio to TV to the clarity to the pain and pleasure, anything in which I stated that resonated with you, by all means, please feel free to reach out to me. And until then, folks, this wraps up as far as Transformation Greatness along with the Small Business Network podcast. And we're going to end this like we do all of our other segments. And if what I stated on here either motivated, transformed, or inspired at least one person, to make God be the glory, and I'll take no credit for absolutely none of it. Until then, you're all amazing. I appreciate your time, and by His grace and mercy, look forward to seeing you all on the next episode. Be blessed, family. Thank you.